Massa for massa, you a
Do you accept me now? I've done everything you asked.
Joe Biden is asleep. Kamala is at a dance party with Beyonce. 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 Dance party with Beyonce. Dance party with Beyonce. Dance party.
I thank you. Stop eating us. Stop eating our babies. Stop eating our babies. Thank you. What's up?
This was hilarious to me because it is 100% a representation of every single black conservative out there today. I mean, this reminds me of every post made by Terrence Williams. It reminds me of everything Candace Owens has ever had to say. This is just them tap dancing for a bunch of people who would call them the N-word and turn their back on them as soon as they stepped out of line. But as long as they're tap dancing, they're applauding them. So this was hilarious to me. And, you know, sometimes the stars just align, because you cannot tell me that it is a coincidence that right after I saw this video, I come across this video of this bootlicking, tap dancing, sellout ass black. You know how much you have to hate yourself as a black person to be against programs and initiatives that basically exist to make sure black people aren't being discriminated against. Like, these bootlickers are so dumb, they're fighting against their own prosperity at this point. If DEI isn't a bad thing, then why are people so mad at being called DEI hires? You know what's funny is that this idiot really thinks he said something profound, and the only people who admire him for this dumbass statement are racist people who are happy to see a black person being a jigaboo for them. So let me explain this one more time for the idiots out there. Racist white people have put a negative connotation on the acronym for diversity, equity, and inclusion. What diversity, equity, and inclusion does is it aspires to cast a wider net to make sure companies are able to find the best and the brightest. It was created because there was a lot of proof that companies were discriminating against people of color. And consequently, white women have been the biggest beneficiaries of DEI. However, white racists will only call black people DEI hires. There's no such thing as a DEI hire. No one is in a job that they're not qualified for just because they're a person of color. They may have received an application. They may have received an interest form from a company. They may even have gotten an interview because they're a person of color. But again, not one of them got the job because they're a person of color. They got the job because they were the best person for the job. People who call other people DEI hires are never doing it as a term of endearment. They're doing it as a slur. They will call an overqualified black person a DEI hire while calling an underachieving, ignorant white person qualified. It's just racism. And underachieving, low IQ black people like this guy.
You know, Democrats, you're right. I mean, with all the shit going on in the news today, with the stock market and the financial war with China, you're right. I'm really starting to regret my vote for Donald Trump. I'm really starting to regret it.
I've been seeing a lot of videos where people are saying that they regret voting for Donald Trump. What sold you on voting for him in the first place? Was it the whole idea of black people being put in their place? Was it the idea of LGBTQ? Like, what was it that made you feel like was it money related? Because I don't understand. I don't understand. Me, I stay out of the race. I don't trust nobody. But the minute I heard from a family member what Trump was trying to do, and I wasn't even gonna vote. I was like, whatever happens, happens. But that prompted me to be like, oh my gosh, let me vote for Kamala, even though I wouldn't even participate. So what did you see?
If you are an American citizen, I just want you to know there are some conservatives and Republicans that didn't vote. but took the opportunity of telling over 500,000 people to vote. And as one of them, I'm going to say that I am sorry. I was extremely wrong, and I think watching the families getting taken away and Trey Reed being hung in a tree got to me. I'm not gonna cry on screen, so I'd rather cry before I hit the record button, bum bitch. Just so I apologize for believing Trump.
You ain't even vote. Keep them crocodile tears. I call Cap. Girl, kick rocks. Until your feet are ashy.
Only thing more embarrassing than MAGA is Black MAGA. Damn. Y'all really out there shucking and driving for free. Y'all is not getting put in the positions. Y'all are not being helped. You guys are being ignored, used as tokens, because that's what y'all are. And it's like, I don't even give a fuck. Since it's unfortunate.
I've been seeing videos that people are starting to regret who they voted for. But I remember 2024. And oh, was it loud and proud. I came here to say 92%. Y'all good? Y'all all right? Because we still minding ours, right? Okay. And tomorrow, the blackout, we good tomorrow too, right? Matter of fact, black-owned businesses, drop the businesses tomorrow. We might want to do a little shopping tomorrow.
Friend, pick up the phone. We have to talk. Be quiet. Your favorite show is on. Stop doom scrolling and listen to what I have to say. Thank you. Now, I asked a question about people who grew up in racist households, right? Great responses. Love every single authentic, true response. And I asked, like, were y'all not able to watch, like, black TV shows, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Fat Albert, Good Times, Cosby Show, Family Matters? And a lot of people were like, yeah, no, we weren't. I wasn't, but I snuck. Or, you know, one parent let me watch and another parent didn't. Now, let me ask you a question. For those same parents that you have, are they still like that? And then also, if they are Republican right now, MAGA, maybe not, you know, maybe just Republican and just voted Republican because they didn't want to see a black woman in office, how are they feeling right now? How are they feeling right now? Are they regretting their vote? Are they still ignoring the elephant in the room, even though they're paying double for groceries, even though their insurance premiums may go up, even though, like, no one is enjoying the world right now, even them? What are they doing? What are they doing? And how do you respond to that? I can't imagine having a parent who is ignorant to the fact that the people in office are shitty. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Dollar Tree dictator is literally embarrassing them. These are questions that I need answers to because I can't relate, but I really want to understand.
Down if your husband goes to you for 48 hours and you're financially reliant on him and you only had $13 yesterday. Like, I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do with the cat because I can't clean the litter box, I'm pregnant. I'm trying to figure out, like, bills, like, what am I, like, you're gonna pay those? Like, am I still gonna get an allowance? Like, what's gonna happen?
Just a PSA before you get invested into this Reddit storytelling coded content. Just be aware.
I voted. Happy birthday, Mr. President.
Just be aware.
I was so invested in this story until she said, am I still going to get an allowance? When she said that, I was like, okay, I might know what kind of relationship this is. Then when my man said, don't get invested because look, and you find out she voted for Trump, I'm like, that makes sense. Okay, no shade if you have the type of relationship with your person where they work and they give you an allowance. I know in Japanese culture, the guy will work and then they will give their check to their wife and then their wife gives them an allowance out of the money that they made. That does not happen usually here in America, but every different culture has their own different things. So no shade if you have a situation at home where you get an allowance. More often than not, when I hear that a woman is getting an allowance from a man and she doesn't work and she is 100% financially dependent on said man, that man and that woman are usually conservative right. Like, they're usually, at this point, MAGAs, or they are Republicans. Supporting that type of lifestyle where you are 100% dependent on said man, that can lead to what happened to this lady. Now, this lady, she voted for Trump. She is all in on the ideology that the MAGA have. She actually deleted her videos and photos of her wearing that MAGA hat at the end. I tried to get that video of her wearing that MAGA hat. I could not find it anywhere on her page. She had pretty much deleted everything from election to like December. So I don't know what else she was saying, okay? She probably got a lot of hate, so she deleted it. When you support the idea that a woman is second class, that she does not have bodily autonomy, that she shouldn't work, which is why a lot of the rhetoric is what it is. They don't want women in the fields. DEI is not just for black and brown people. YT women are the biggest beneficiaries of DEI. You can very easily look that up. They know that. They want those women in the home. They do not want women to be able to work. They do not want women to be able to take care of themselves. Why? Because they want to be able to have control over that woman. Now, I have no idea what happened in their relationship to make my man completely ghost her, to the point where she had to go to his job to see if she could talk to him 48 hours after she had stopped hearing from him. They kicked her out of his job. She had to go to his dad's to try to talk to him. Dad said, he's asleep. Get off my property, basically. Now, that's her husband. And she's pregnant with his kid. I don't know what race her husband is, and I don't know his ideology, his views. So I can't speak on that. But this is kind of a PSA to ladies that we need to make sure that we have what we need. If you are in a situation where you get an allowance, you need to be making a savings account, and you need to be putting a little money away, trying to make a little money on your own. This app is a good app for you to try to do that until it gets banned. But you need to make sure that you're good. I don't feel sorry for this girl. Like, I cannot. Like, she now has to find a job while pregnant, which is going to be very difficult to do, especially since after she has the kid, she's going to need to take some time off because of just the brutal process of having a kid. Jobs don't want to pay you when they do that, but those are the things, those are the policies that she supports by voting the way that she voted. She may have to get, Medicaid now, because with a divorce, she may not be on his insurance anymore. She voted against that. She voted for those people to take $880 billion out of Medicaid. That might affect her. She might have to get WIC for that kid if she doesn't give it up for adoption. She said in one of her other videos that she's thinking about giving it up for adoption, and she even floated, her choice. Now, she said as a Christian, she was, she wouldn't do that. But the thing is, in her type of situation, she should be able to have that choice. She shouldn't be judged for the choices that she makes. But she voted for people to judge her over the choices that she made. Even if she puts it up for adoption, that's still a stigma on women. And her vote supports that stigma on women. She raises it. And she's a single mom and needs help with WIC or needs help with EBT or whatever as she's trying to find her footing because she just got out of a marriage where she was completely dependent on her husband. She should be able to get that. But she voted against it. You see where I'm going here? Life happens. Life freaking lives, y'all. And you can't cookie cutter people's lives like this. She thought a week before she did this video, a week before her husband ghosted her, my girl was pregnant and she just knew her baby was going to be in a 2-parent home raised by 2 loving parents. A week later, she is in this situation, weighing her options that she voted against in every term. If this ain't a lesson, I don't know what is.
I've come to the conclusion that the new civil war will not be between black people and white people. It won't even be people of color versus white people. It will be groypers versus MAGA. They're literally eating themselves. It will be conservatives versus MAGA. This is insane. And it's crazy because every time they get mad, they stare at us, waiting for us to do something. And we're just like on the sideline like, we minding our own business. We have nothing to do with y'all beef. Whew. More power to them.
No, you the joke, Butler Stephen. Look at you. MAGA. Man. Bye.
And before I close my eyes tonight, it is with a sober heart and a clear mind that I extend 2 full middle fingers to all of you that didn't vote, told others not to vote, and those of you that voted third party, knowing full well we are in a 2-party system that wasn't going to change in a few months. It is because of you that now we're going to end up in a 1-party system when they gut Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. That's what's going to happen. It was the one thing holding states accountable for representation. As soon as this is passed by the Supreme Court, because that's how ignorant they are, as soon as they overturn this and take this away, those states are going to start gerrymandering. Representation will be gone. Do you hear me? They're going to gut and take the filibuster. There will be no representation because they know that most of us go Democrat. And that's not what they want. This is what is happening here. 60 years. My mom was born in 1958. Before this, she is still here. I just don't understand what has happened to this country. I know how we got here, but I don't understand right now the complacency, okay? The capitulation. I don't understand any of it. I don't understand how we got here now. My God, today.
All y'all had to do was vote for the black lady. I am never forgiving any of y'all for this bullshit. I don't want to hear from anybody, especially none of my mutuals who do not live in the South, especially if you live in a safe blue state. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear nothing about Palestine in this moment as your justification for not voting for her. Because this bullshit would not be happening under Kamala right now. Republicans would not be feeling confident enough to try and gut the Voting Rights Act like this if Kamala Harris was in charge. And y'all fucking know this. Ever since I turned 18, I have only been able to participate in 3 national elections. And because of the upcoming Supreme Court decision that we might get in the upcoming days or maybe a week or two, my ability, my family's ability, and every black person in the South's ability to have our voices make a legitimate difference can completely fucking vanish. I have 2 great aunts still alive that are in their 90s, and it is so fucking disheartening to think that everything that was achieved in their lifetime could just be erased like that in a fucking year because of you people. And every minority who votes and supports Republicans, black, Hispanic, Asian, Muslim, whatever, if they get away with this, they're not going to pretend like they need to cater to you no more. I've said it before that the Republican Party is dying. That what they're doing now is part of Project 2025, but it is clear signs of a desperate, gasping for air party. Silent Gen, they mostly go Republican, but there's practically none of them left. They hold very little voting power. Their largest voting base are baby boomers, and they're starting to die off. Gen X is split pretty evenly amongst both parties, and they have not ingratiated themselves to millennials and most of Gen Z because they've been talking shit for like over 20 years now. They have gained some headway amongst certain young male demographics, predominantly white, because of right-wing podcasters and because certain streamers have been feeding into the alt-right pipeline for like the last 10, 15 years now. But it's not enough. Millennials and Gen Z overall as a group do not fuck with Republicans like that. I want everyone to realistically think about this. With the Voting Rights Act intact, Republicans have still been able to use legal jargon to be able to gerrymander the fuck out of their states and still not give proportionate representation that should be there amongst black and other minority voters. But they have only been able to consistently maintain either a half power or a slight majority of power. They've never been able to gain a supermajority where they get 60% of the votes. But if this ends up happening, that goes out the window. And I'll say it again, this just wouldn't be happening if Kamala Harris was in charge. And I know Trump cheated, he has said as much multiple times, but it does not excuse the behavior of a bunch of y'all during 2024. And before someone tries to throw Palestine in my face, note that my support of the Palestinian people has not and will not change. However, We were facing down the proverbial barrel of white supremacy and fascism just exploding in this country, and decades of social progress being threatened, if not outright flushed down the toilet. And some of y'all looked at that and said, this is a risk I'm willing to take.
So I want y'all to think about this, because I see a lot of y'all making comments about Republicans this, Republicans that. Republican is not a dirty word, right? What we're seeing now is not Republican. It's MAGA. They're not exactly one and the same. There was a time when we all probably had Republicans that were acquaintances and friends, and it wasn't like this. So we have to keep in mind that this is not what's happening right now. MAGA is not real Republicans. And we make sure that we don't forget that. There was a time when Republican just meant smaller government, things like that. And I didn't align with everything Republicans said, but I could at least have a conversation about the differences. That is not what this is. And I think we need to keep that in mind while we continuously have this political discussion, because a lot of this is not about politics. Most of this is about racism, capitalism, and control. Simple as that.